It is a Tuesday evening, and you are folding laundry when your phone rings from a number you do not recognize. Against every ounce of caution you have built over 3 decades, you pick it up anyway. The voice on the line tells you the deal has closed. The company you started in a garage, the one your father once called a passing phase and your brother dismissed as a mistake, has just been sold for $4.1 billion. Not million, billion. The word barely feels real as it leaves your mouth. Even after repeating it out loud to an empty kitchen, your knees give out and you end up sitting on the floor because your legs simply stop cooperating. For a moment, there is nothing but silence, the kind that always arrives just before a life splits into a before and an after. You do not call anyone right away. You just sit there breathing, staring at the laundry basket as though it belongs to some other person's home. Then the first message lands. It is your mother. 2 words. Is it real? You have no idea yet that this short text is the opening move of a game you never signed up for, and that every relationship you have ever trusted is about to be measured against a number. You reply with a simple yes, and within 11 minutes, your phone will not stop buzzing. This is the turning point, and you cannot yet grasp how far its reach will go. The first day feels like a celebration. Your mother calls in tears, insisting she always believed in you, though you clearly remember the year she urged you to find a stable job instead. Your father sends one short line. I am proud of you, son. 4 words he has never spoken to you before, not at your graduation, not at your wedding, not ever. Something warm stirs in your chest when you read it. You want so badly for it to be love. Then your brother calls. His laugh is a little too loud. He says he always knew you would make it big, and somewhere in his sentence you catch the turn, the same pivot every conversation about money in a family eventually takes. So here is the thing, he says, I am behind on my mortgage. You tell him you will take care of it. Of course you will. He is your brother. Before the sun goes down on your first day of unimaginable wealth, $40,000 leaves your account, and it feels good, like your success finally has somewhere useful to go. What you do not realize yet is that $40,000 was never a gift. It was a door, and once a door like that swings open, people stop bothering to knock. By the end of week 1, you have a spreadsheet you never asked to create. A private file labeled Family Requests, 14 lines long, ranging from $3,000 to $220,000. Your cousin wants funding for a business idea suspiciously similar to the one that failed 4 years ago. Your aunt needs a new roof. Your uncle wants an investment, not a handout. An investment, though no one can quite explain what that investment actually involves. You begin noticing something odd. The loudest requests are not coming from the people who called first. Your mother and father said nothing about money at all. It was your brother, then his wife, then a second cousin you have seen maybe twice in your life who suddenly remembers how close the 2 of you used to be. Something cracks quietly inside you, something you cannot yet name. Call it suspicion. Call it grief. It is the slow realization that love and need have begun to look identical, and you can no longer tell which one is standing in front of you. You tell yourself you are overthinking it. You tell yourself family is family. You are wrong, though it will take 6 more weeks before you understand exactly how wrong. At the 1-month point, you face your first real test as a billionaire, and it has nothing to do with the company, the taxes, or the lawyers already circling. It is about your brother. He asks for a much bigger sum this time, $600,000, described loosely as a loan, though the word loan sits there without any paperwork, timeline, or interest rate attached. You ask gently if he could put together a basic written agreement, just to protect them both. 4 seconds of silence follow. You are really going to make me sign something, he finally says, for family. That one sentence rearranges something inside you because you understand in that instant that the billions did not create a new version of your brother. They simply exposed something that had always existed beneath years of ordinary paychecks and ordinary expectations. Money did not change your family. It just removed their need to hide what they wanted from you all along. You send the money anyway, but you hold on to that awkward silence like a splinter, some part of you already sensing it will not be the last time. By month 2, your parents have a new roof, a remodeled kitchen, and a car parked in the driveway worth more than the house itself cost back in 1994. You paid for every bit of it, not out of pressure, but because it felt natural, like the obvious thing a grateful child should do. For the first time in your adult life, your father wraps you in a hug and tells you he loves you. You almost break down. You have waited 41 years to hear that. But 2 weeks later, at what turns out to be an ambush disguised as a family dinner, your father sits you down alongside your uncle, your brother, and a family friend who happens to be a financial advisor. Nobody hired, but everyone seems to trust. They pitch you a family fund. Everyone contributes ideas, they explain, and you contribute the capital, with profits split fairly. You ask what fairly means. No one has a real answer ready, and that silence tells you everything you need to know. Sitting at that table, surrounded by faces you have known your whole life, you realize you are no longer seen as a son, a brother, or a nephew. You have become an asset, a resource, a number wearing a heartbeat. You turn down the fund politely, and the temperature in the room drops instantly. 3 months in, you hire your first lawyer dedicated entirely to family matters, a woman named Renata, who has represented several other newly wealthy clients and has watched this exact story unfold so many times, she can predict the next scene before you even describe it. They test boundaries first with small requests, she tells you. Then they escalate. Then emotion gets involved. And when emotion does not work, guilt takes over. And if guilt fails too, some of them simply go quiet and blame you for it. You laugh it off as overly dramatic. It is not dramatic at all. It is precise. Your cousin, the one with the recycled business idea, asks for $250,000 to relaunch it under a different name. This time you say no, firmly, backed by Renata's guidance and your own instincts. Within a week, he posts something vague online about people forgetting where they came from once the money hits. He never names you. He does not have to. Everyone in the family group chat already knows exactly who he means. Your mother calls asking why you are stirring up drama. With a coldness that even surprises you, you realize that refusing to hand out money has somehow become, in your family's eyes, an act of betrayal. By month 5, the cracks are no longer subtle. Your brother stops picking up unless he needs something. Your father, the same man who hugged you and told you he loved you, now works almost every conversation around to how the sale is progressing, whether another payout is coming, whether there is more money on the horizon he should know about. You start to understand something and nobody tells you when you dream about wealth as a kid. Money does not just reveal the character of strangers. It tests blood. It tests the very people you assumed loved you without conditions, and in doing so, it shows you exactly which parts of your relationships were built on love and which were built on convenience. Quietly, almost compulsively, you start a second spreadsheet. Not of requests this time, but of reactions. Every time you say no to someone, you note exactly how they respond. A pattern emerges that is impossible to ignore. The relatives who genuinely love you grow quieter, more careful, almost embarrassed by how the others are behaving. The ones who see you as a bank account grow louder and more entitled with every rejection. Your accountant says something that stays with you for the rest of your life. Money does not change people, he tells you. It just gives them permission to stop hiding who they already were. You do not sleep much that night. At 6 months, your father asks for something you never saw coming. Not money this time, but control. Over dinner, in front of your mother, he suggests that maybe he should help manage things going forward since he has more life experience and you are still new to all of this. He says it warmly, cloaked in decades of authority that used to make perfect sense back when you were a child and he was simply your father. But you are not a child anymore. You are the person who built something worth $4 billion out of nothing but obsession, risk, and countless sleepless nights no one else witnessed. You say no. His expression shifts into something you have never seen on his face before. Somewhere between disappointment and disbelief, as if the son he raised has quietly been swapped out for a stranger he no longer recognizes. Someone who no longer needs him the way he always assumed you would. He does not speak to you for 11 days. This, you realize, is the exact moment your identity truly begins to shift. Not because of the money itself, but because of what it does to you internally to calmly tell your own father no without apologizing for it. It feels like grief and power arriving together, so tangled up you cannot separate one from the other. By month 8, you have built something you never planned on building: real boundaries. You set up a family trust with clear, transparent rules. You launch a foundation your siblings can apply to, but only with genuine proposals, real numbers, and real accountability. No shortcuts and no favorites. You stop giving money as a reflex and start giving it as a deliberate choice. Some relatives adjust. Your mother, without ever quite saying it out loud, begins asking about your life again instead of your bank account. She asks if you are happy. No one had asked you that in months. Others never adjust. Your brother pulls away almost entirely, only reappearing around the holidays, his tone polite but hollow, like a business contact speaking in family language. Your cousin cuts you off completely. You lose people and you gain clarity, and somehow both changes feel enormous and permanent in equal measure. At the 1-year mark, you sit alone in the house you eventually bought, far bigger than you ever needed and far quieter than you expected wealth to feel. You think back to the version of yourself who answered that first call in the kitchen, sitting on the floor, staring at a laundry basket as though it belonged to someone else's life. That version of you believed money would simply stack happiness on top of everything you already had. Instead, it did something far more complicated. It became a mirror held up to every relationship you have ever known, forcing you to see clearly who actually loved you and who only loved what you could give them. Some people you trusted completely turned out to be entirely transactional. Some people you barely paid attention to turned out to be loyal beyond anything you could have expected. You are wealthier now than you ever thought possible, but you are also lonelier, more guarded, and more aware of human nature than you ever wanted to be. You still love your family, that has not gone away. But now that love sits beside something new, a permanent, quiet watchfulness you never carried before. A private understanding that money does not build character in the people around you. It only strips away the disguise. So here's the question you are left holding, the one you still cannot fully answer even now, catching your own reflection in a window that cost more than your childhood home once did. If you woke up tomorrow with nothing again, no billions, no company, no empire, just you exactly as you were before that phone call ever came, how many of the people currently in your life would still stay?